Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new vid of Fox Tracks. Today we're checking out a new vid from Kazakhstan. In a nutshell, the most horrible parasite, a brain-eating amoeba. I nearly said Among Us for some reason, I don't know why. Let's hop in and just see how bad this parasite truly is.
A war has been going on for billions of years that breeds well-armed monsters who struggle with other monsters for survival.
Sounds like a
Having
video
no
game.
particular interest in us, most of them are relatively harmless, as our immune systems deal with their weapons easily. But there are exceptions. Naglaria fowleri is an amoeba that has not only developed a deadly taste for...
Huh, that was strange. It kind of just froze for a couple seconds though. But this could probably make an interesting video game.
Human brains, but is also a match for our defenses and stars in dramatic headlines. What happens when this monster enters your body?
Oh no. Well, let's just find out and see what this creature does to us.
Naglaria fowleri is an amoeba, a microbe with a nucleus, one of the smallest life forms on Earth. It is a voracious hunter of bacteria and other critters that it devours whole and rips into pieces.
Jeez.
Like many amoebae, it is able to transform into different stages that help it survive. But most of the time, Naglaria fowleri is in its trophozoite stage, during which it looks like a squishy blob with tiny arms, and hunts, divides, and thrives. Its natural home is in fresh water, ponds, rivers, lakes, and hot springs.
And we're back.
Unfortunately, it also feels happy in pipes, swimming pools, fountains, or spas when they're not properly treated. The warmer the water, the more it thrives and multiplies. So in the summer, when humans seek to cool off and enjoy themselves, the chances are highest that both species will interact. Because this makes it hard to avoid, millions of people regularly have contact with the amoeba, especially in warmer climates, and many people even seem to have antibodies against it. And this is mostly okay. You can even swallow it without consequences. Things turn bad when people dive or swim in water contaminated with the amoeba, and water splashes high up into their noses.
Oh god,
in a single drop of lake water, there are millions of viruses, bacteria, and amoebae, and that isn't really a big deal. But Naglaria fowleri is different.
I'm sorry, but getting water up the nose always hurts like hell. Like it shouldn't be up there.
Let's zoom into the nose of an unsuspecting victim enjoying a great summer day and see what happens. First of all, the amoeba doesn't really want to be inside your nose, as it's not really looking for trouble. It just wants to eat a few bacteria. Instead, it's greeted by your natural defenses. Unfortunately for humans, Naglaria fowleri happens to be exceptionally good at generally flying under the radar of your immune system. For example, the inside of your nose is covered by mucosa, a slime filled with chemicals that kill or stun possible invaders or alert immune cells. But Naglaria fowleri is not particularly bothered by them, and instead calmly checks out the scenery, mildly annoyed about the whole ordeal. Now, if you are unlucky, the tiny critter stumbles over something that actually sparks its interest. Nerve cells. Your nose is filled with a large network of olfactory nerve cells that pick up molecules from the outside and transmit their information to your olfactory bulb, the center of smell in your brain. To do their job, these cells talk to each other by releasing various messenger chemicals and recognizing them via specific receptors. One of the most important of these chemicals is acetylcholine. Through sheer evolutionary bad luck, Naglaria fowleri happens to have receptors that recognize acetylcholine. And it seems to attract them irresistibly, a little like moths that are attracted by light.
Now that's some beautiful animation.
So as your olfactory nerve cells do their job, using plenty of acetylcholine to talk to the brain, Naglaria fowleri enters your tissue. It seems to follow the chemical signals upstream. Neutrophils, crazy suicide warriors, begin to attack the amoebae. Individually, they have no chance against them, as the invaders are large and pretty buff fighters, used to dealing with tough enemies. So the defenders swarm the intruders and kill them either by vomiting chemicals that punch holes into them, or by literally ripping parts of them off and devouring them. But the Naglaria fowleri train is still on track, and while the neutrophil attacks slow them down, they continue to follow the olfactory nerves to their final destination,
Oh, crap.
your brain. This process can take between 1 and 9 days,
Oh,
and you'll
boy.
probably not notice anything during that time. Until the amoebae reach the olfactory bulb, the center of smell and entrance to your brain. Your
Ooh.
brain cells are nothing more than helpless victims, and they all release that wonderful acetylcholine.
Oh, this is not good.
Naegleria fowleri initiates a massacre and releases an onslaught of various attack molecules. Some of them are basically little bombs that rip holes into your cells on contact so their pieces
Oh,
can be eagerly
God.
consumed. But Naegleria fowleri is now multiplying, and it's also becoming really creepy.
Oh, no,
In a feeding frenzy,
no.
it can develop up to a dozen suckers called food cups that look like giant, eerie mouths.
Oh, God.
The amoebae
this is bad.
engage your brain cells, suck them in, and rip large bites out of them while they're still alive. Now
Oh.
things escalate quickly, and the disease that will kill you sets in.
I'm in
Alerted by the
danger.
massacre, millions
sorry,
of
I
immune
laughed
cells,
at that.
neutrophils, eosinophils, and microglias invade the infected tissue.
My
Which is a
Microglia,
problem.
kill!
Your immune system is dangerous and not exactly a careful fighter. It's like
Yeah, that's a
burning down a
downside.
forest to kill the wolves inside it. A really bad idea in the brain.
Yeah.
They waste no
That's
time
the
and
downside.
attack the amoeba, using all the weapons available to them, from chemicals to trying to eat them alive.
Consume!
Neutrophils
Consume!
explode themselves to erect barriers spiked with deadly chemicals. A fierce battle ensues. Naegleria fowleri can actually fight back, itself attacking and killing many immune cells. The immune system
Consume
now
it.
throws everything it has at the invader, but in vain. The complement system, tiny protein bombs that can kill intruders on their own, are easily disabled.
Oh, what?
Antibodies, usually one of your superweapons, are just destroyed or swallowed.
Oh,
A high
no.
fever that usually slows enemies down does nothing, as the amoeba actually thrives in the heat.
Oh,
All the while,
no!
the amoebae continue to multiply, fight, and devour your brain cells.
Oh, my
A
God.
disastrous chain reaction is taking place. One major thing your immune cells do when they fight is to cause inflammation, which directs large
Ooh.
amounts of fluid from your bloodstream into the site of an infection.
That's not
So,
good.
as the battle rages on without a clear winner, more and more fluid enters the
Inflammation
brain.
in the brain is not good.
At this point, the human will feel symptoms that quickly escalate. It all begins pretty vaguely: a headache, fever, nausea, and vomiting.
Ooh.
As the battle spreads rapidly through the
That
brain,
is
serious symptoms
painful.
appear, from confusion, inability to concentrate, to fatigue, seizures, and hallucinations.
Oh,
The brain swells up massively, but can't expand due to the bones surrounding
Ow.
it. So it compresses and disables the brainstem that controls things like breathing. Usually, within a week, the patient dies.
oh, yep, there we
Up
go.
to
Death.
97% of the patients infected by the amoeba share this fate. In almost all cases, by the time an infection by Naegleria fowleri is recognized, the disastrous battle for the brain is already so far along that there is
yep.
almost nothing to be done.
There we
Not
go.
only do we currently not have effective treatments,
Oh,
there
this
are
is
also
not
an
good.
abundance of open questions about how an amoeba that usually enjoys its life in open water
Oh, boy.
is able to overcome our immune system so
Ah.
effectively. So, how worried do you need to be about this horrifying killer amoeba? Well, not very. While the Naegleria fowleri
Thumbs
is
up.
clearly extremely deadly, and the infection truly horrible, there have only been a few
Oh.
hundred cases in the last few decades.
Huh,
You
not
are way
bad.
more likely to drown in a pool than to get infected. Not only does the amoeba need to be flushed high up your nose, it also needs to get a good grip, and it also has to make its way through the first lines of your defenses.
Yeah.
Ultimately,
And it can't
Naegleria
make it
fowleri
through.
is neither evil nor a huge public health risk. But every year, some unlucky people have to deal with it. We still have so much to learn about it, and until we find a way
Alright,
to treat
well,
it,
this is
Naegleria
good.
fowleri will continue to be this vague and horrifying thing, hunting in puddles and lakes, and sometimes pools.
Nice.
Usually for bacteria, and very occasionally for people.
Very rarely. Alright, well, that's understandable. So, looks like it's not too
hey.
dangerous, but...
Who are you?
Wait, what?
Your existential dread.
Okay.
What
I'm
the
here
hell
to
is
make
this?
you question your own existence and everything you hold dear in life.
Could you not, please?
Too late. Just look at all these amazing posters full of humbling
Oh.
visualizations, like the scale of the universe. Look how huge it is and how small you
Nice.
are. Look at the Education Edition,
Ooh.
how it dives deep into the history of evolution or
Huh.
all the other scientific fields.
Alright, I think this bit here at the end is just an ad for all the posters and all. And to be honest, I would love to buy one, but I am currently not able to right now. But that's beside the point. And moving on. Looks like this... Sorry. Looks like this so-called brain-eating amoeba is not as dangerous as we all thought. It still is dangerous, but it's not rapidly spreading. So anyway, that's what I'm going to leave off today's video. I want you to remember to like, comment, and subscribe for more. Down in the description will be a link to the original video, so remember to support the original creators and all they do, and I'll see all of you folks in the next video. Peace.